All right, test. 1, 2. How are you guys doing? Audio's looking good. Chat looks live. Let me check Twitter. Sorry, we got to check everything because otherwise I'll talk for 20 minutes and then realize something's wrong. So we're good. All right. Pin this and then we'll get going. Hope you guys are doing well. One of the wildest weeks I've seen in a long time in the crypto industry with some of the weirdest mixed signals I've ever seen. But per the usual, this stream is intended to be used for educational purposes only. It's not intended to be used as financial advice. Welcome to the show. We do this every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We hang out here for an hour, and then we go hit up the Rainbow Trends Discord, and we do open mic. Anybody can show their charts, thoughts on Chill House, thoughts on Rivian, you know it, and we'll hang out from there. But as a reminder, if you guys could retweet, like, comment, subscribe, that'd help us out a lot. These algorithms are very sensitive to the clicks in the chat, and you guys are already blowing up the chat. What's up, guys? What's up, Phil? What's up, Matt? Can I check price? It looks stuffed on my end. Yeah, we'll look at prices today and see if the devs can do anything. We're overly invested into a industry we check in every day, right? As is tradition. But before we get going, if you're curious at any point why any of the charts look the way they do, it is Rainbow Trends, Rainbow Theory stuff. It's a bunch of indicators and tools that we've been using for, over 5 years now. Good track record, good vibes, good people, good stuff. And if you want to try it out for the first month, it's $10. Cancel anytime. If you don't like or know or trust me, go talk to the OGs. We've got pretty good track record, needless to say. Now, to get started, where are we at? Well, I'm going to go into some of the news articles today and go about like what is the craziness that is this market, because we definitely need to talk about it. There's some stuff going on right now that I've never seen happen before. Some of the traditional stuff we've seen, I've never seen happen before. But to kick this off, the White House is clarifying that Trump does not want to execute members of Congress. So that's the type of market we're trading right now in TradeFi. NVIDIA earnings were this week, and we're having to roll back comments and clarifications that Trump's not meaning to kill Congress. So mixed signal there, probably bullish, right? We don't know yet, but it's is what it is. The big thing that we've been tracking for the longest time, what really had the biggest dip that we got a major entry on the S&P was been the tariffs ordeal. Those deals are still being done, still being played out, still being going through everything. And just some other side notes, the tariffs with Brazil are getting modified. So it's interesting to say the least, because you think a deal's done and then someone will get mad and then the tariffs change on the deal. And then the deals go up. I think China and the U.S. are still kind of working that out. That's the big one, to be honest. But South America is going to be another thing, especially with all the stuff they're doing in Venezuela. Whether or not that's going to turn into a ground invasion, we don't know. Either way, Runner, I don't like war of any type. Legit wars on drugs, sure, but even then, that war never ended. So, anyway, I'm anti-war, but I don't want to get too much into that, but just thought 2025 would have a good chance to wrap up the Ukraine-Russia war and potentially wrap up some other things, but invading Venezuela was not on my bingo card. If it was, let me know, chat, for you guys, because I did not see that one coming. But it is what it is. There's a bounty, I think 30 million on their president's head, so we'll see how that goes, see if they wrap that up. But on a side note, if you guys remember way back in the day when I was super bad at streaming, and I'm still very bad at streaming, but one of the cool things that happened a long time ago was my first interview was interviewing Crypto Paradigm. So I was nervous as could be, did a ton of studying, had a bunch of notes, and fumbled through it, and it was a lot of fun, and I still look back on it highly. I wanted to give you guys a heads up. Dime dropped another interview, so go check this out. This is the Cayenne Exchange. They had Dime on and talked for like an hour. So I definitely recommend you guys go check this out, because we don't get too many interviews with Dime. Sometimes he shows up in the Discord and does the round table, and it's much appreciated, and it's always a good time. But yeah, definitely go check this out, because that's a cool, fun thing. He needs to do more streaming, in my opinion, besides all the nonstop. He's already living on Twitter, right? He's on Twitter 24/7, rocking. Why not just add a microphone? But anyway, moving on. Actual charts, actual talk. Jokes aside, in all seriousness, let's go into S&P for the first thing, because S&P right now is going into Q4, and it's on track for the worst November since 2008. And if you remember the last stream, we were talking about Michael Burry and these big shorts that they're pushing through. We've got some really crazy stuff going on because we've got potential AI bubble, right? The AI, it's looked at as a bubble. Michael Burry's fully short on it. He's messed up shorts before in the past, is what it is. Mixed signal. But first chart of the day, let's take a look at it. S&P 500. Now, this one, I'm going to clean it up a bit. Sell volume's hitting. This is the downward channel. Now, remember, guys, this was straight up tariffs. That was tariff talk that scared the entire market. The tariffs came on harder than the markets anticipated. The talks of it, as well as, just everything in general. It scared a lot of people, and rightfully, well, should I say rightfully? I mean, I guess rightfully so. We did end up seeing a lot of increased prices, so that's one thing. But in general, though, we're looking at another potential move down. Now, this isn't necessarily considered tariff priced in, but we definitely had a catalyst here. The tariffs came in hotter than the market could predict, and we had a huge drawdown. Wasn't as bad as some of the worst we've ever seen. Remember, we had a bunch of levels going down, and a lot of us traders from the Discord, we actually bought along this area once we saw like the actual rejection. To be frank, in general, you often don't see the S&P 500 actually touch this reversion band on the S&P. It's super rare. You can see me scrolling back, way back. We did, the last time we touched it was in 2020. So keep that in mind. COVID is what touched that band. We actually touched the band there over tariffs. So COVID versus tariffs, you figure it out. We're definitely going to get this video flagged for the words I'm using. We've already mentioned Russia, drug cartel, or not cartels, drug war, Congress. Yeah, all this stuff. So we'll just see if we can get permabanned again. But regardless, S&P 500 going into Q4, we had a broadening wedge going down into support. We got support. We actually printed purple RSIs. I wish I bought more here. I got heavy exposure here with the retirement accounts, but you guys normally don't care too much about S&P. But as far as actual trading, but in general, I use the S&P as a barometer because I can tell you one thing. I have not seen crypto depeg from this in general. Now, Zcash aside, yeah, but Bitcoin in general typically follows this. Sometimes it'll switch up, it'll change directions. Crypto will go on a run when Bitcoin's not, etc. But in general, I have not seen Bitcoin shake off actual S&P going down for more than a few days and not having Bitcoin somewhat chase it. So we look at crypto like Bitcoin being the king of crypto, and everyone bows to the king. The king bows to this dude, which is the S&P. So world markets matter, and just in general, this is the one I normally base it off of. Normally don't get a lot of colors on this. This is just the standard H4 settings. Like I said, it's really boring. People get upset when they don't see colors on these charts. Like, yo, it's just green. Why can't you change it? Da-da-da. Well, the truth is, when it's doing this, it's grinding, and that's what the colors really are. If you want to increase the tunes on them, you definitely can. Come in here and mess with these, and you can crank it up for sure. So we'll do it here real quick and see if we can slow down the TradingView servers a little bit, because we've got a lot of code on the screen right now. But crank these bad boys down. Find the flavor you like. Lock it in. There you go. We started doing some purples, we got some blues, we got some greens. Now you have an S&P 500 chart with white candles and some purples, so it's looking a lot better. 4R, I don't know how to say your name, but yo, what's up, dude? Hope you are well. So moving forward, S&P's here. I'm going to reset this indicator on these zeros. Remember, go play with all these settings, try to break it, then you can just come down here and do reset settings always, and it'll get you back to the defaults, which are heavily tuned for the H4 across all assets. But the thing is here, I've been plotting a channel walk that we've had going into the all-time highs on the S&P 500. People have been crying and screaming, and we just keep setting higher highs, higher highs, higher highs. And we started to notice that there was a channel here. I apologize, Mally. We're going to turn off the Mally pivots just to clean this up a little bit. Now, this channel was after this reversion, right? And then the market kind of picked it back up, figured out, hey, maybe tariffs aren't going to really be that bad. They started to see that Trump would back off on some of his rhetoric of what he was actually going to do, like 8,000% tariffs, stuff on soybeans, that type of stuff. And then it ended up calming down a lot. It was perceived then to be more of a negotiation tactic. So we started seeing the market go into it. We started to see potential rate cuts, et cetera, which the market was FOMOing for. And then this kind of the past 2 weeks, we've seen this channel start to fall out. So it's definitely something to pay attention to. In general, we've seen this pattern before the S&P, particularly here back in 2024. We followed 2 channel walks that had 2 corrections. Now, this channel walk shifted and then started again and then pulled back. And then we just kept on going until we had the giant tariff pullback. Now, on the S&P 500, these look kind of crappy, and they kind of were, but in reality, this was only a 6% pullback. This was only 9%. But in general, we've got so many stocks just absolutely flying. If we start to have like a 6 to 8% pullback, maybe 10% here, it's not looking so good. Frankly, what's up, 9K? 9K's on Twitter saying hi. Much love, dude. It's another dude we interviewed way back in the day. That was an awesome interview. It's also the only dude I've ever live streamed a tattoo for, so that was fun way back in the day. Anyway, S&P channel breaking. Regardless, in general, we went back and said, BTC's the king. All the alts bow to the king. If this starts to puke a little bit more, we're really going to see some capitulation. The week's not over. We still have Friday. We're going into Turkey Day, all that type of stuff. We're going to be looking at potentially scaring a lot of stuff here. Nvidia was the big earnings of the week, and we'll cover it later, and they beat. Shocker. Market rallied here. Let me zoom way in. The market exploded off of the Nvidia, killing it again, and then we've now pulled back. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. You've got to remember, correct, help me out in the chat. It's something like the Nvidia alone is something like, 8% of the entire S&P 500 capital. It's insane. But anyway, Malfester, what's up, dude? So yeah, that's what we're looking at the S&P. I'm super paying attention to it. Gold started waking up again. I forgot to have a chart on this one. Now, gold was going on a parabolic run, absolutely as can be. Started to pivot to a lower high, but just we don't see anything yet. In general, a lot of people are scared, and you're seeing this stuff go crazy. So we'll see. Now, moving on. How are the crypto markets? Crypto markets, Tom Lee, someone really needs to get him off the screen. He's saying that Bitcoin and Ethereum and crypto in general are crashing due to a bug. So that's a lot of fun. General sentiment, not good. Another thing, we're starting to see DATs blow up. So FG Nexus and Ethereum DAT sells over 10,000 Ethereum for share buybacks, blah, 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 with 40,000 remaining. Ethereum's not looking so hot, guys, but let's take a look at it. Frankly, right now I'm getting a lot of weird signals in regards to Bitcoin. I'm not getting the clearest signals on Ethereum other than number be going down. And until it's really today, I haven't seen too much to try to say, hey, people have been bugging me. It's like, yo, Runner, what's next? What's next? What's next? I haven't seen the clearest signal yet. We're getting some really weird stuff, and that's really going to be kind of the thesis and the meme, the interesting part of where this is going to go as far as the markets. We're seeing some really weird stuff right now. We're seeing Ethereum and Bitcoin bleed out while Hype and Zcash are showing strength. I don't know of any pullback in the market where I've personally seen that before, where the alts are showing more resilience than the major macros pulling back. It's weird. As 9K points out, Tom Lee bought the top at 3,900, which is fantastic. Now, that being said, we're going to zoom way back out. And as we've been talking channel walks already, we have the channel walk going down here that we charted for a long time. Everybody was saying Ethereum's the worst thing ever. It's over. It's going to zero. Rainbow Theory traders actually woke the F up when this channel walk broke. We watched it for months. It was absolutely agony. Shout out to the top signals there because, my God, that was top call, bot. Not gonna lie. But we broke through this and we absolutely rallied to was it all time? I think it was. Either way, we broke through this resistance, which has been holding us down since March of 2024. We actually broke through it, completely rolled over, and then we're coming back down. So now people are like, yo, where's the bottom? Where's the bottom? I don't have the clear signal on Bitcoin, but this day today, the past 48 hours, we actually started to hit some things that are kind of important on macro timeframes for Ethereum. So this is the king order block at the top. This was our target since April 2025. We blasted right through that damn thing, and then we came right back down, which is really interesting. And we aren't seeing a channel walk on here, but we are starting to see the old mid-range resistance order block get tested. So for the sake of the bulls, not going into an endangered species list, this is going to be really key to hold. That being said, you're seeing DATS blow up. You're seeing Sailor get close to his DCA. By God, Sailor keeps executing his buys at the tops of range highs, and he just absolutely executing his dollar cost average to higher highs that just, God forbid, Sailor buy a low for once. I don't know why they don't buy the dips. They do it on low time frame bots that are activated when prices are pumping. Go figure. But regardless, I digress. A lot of people got exposure to Ethereum up here. We broke this order block. It was a big thing. People started calling for $10,000 end of year. I want that too, right? Because a lot of people are going to be awesome. And then you're going to see a lot of people's dreams come true. But we completely rolled over. And if we're looking at the daily, we are touching the reversion bands. We are smashing a resistance order block here. But we just haven't seen the buys show up yet. Oh, this is the split volume tool on the bottom. We're looking to see some buys show up and pop. So we haven't seen that yet, but it's something that can happen. So this is a part where the charts are giving us an indication that something's about to happen, potentially. Definitely, we've seen really, really bad things before, and frankly, I don't want to talk about the next level, which is 2100, because that's, if we honestly do that, Pico top being, what was it, 49? 49 to that level is 57%. Which, I don't want to talk about that. But either way, I'm looking for support in the charts. I'm fishing around trying to see what's going on. We're seeing Bitcoin bleed and Zcash pump. I can't believe that's in the same sentence, but it's here. But regardless, Ethereum, this is a very key level. We haven't spent enough time touching it to figure out if this is actually going to hold. We very well may just V-bounce tomorrow, but markets could be a absolutely bloody Friday too, and we have to retest this, etc. But we're getting into potential support ranges. So, and we're testing it. So far, the reversion bands on the H4 has been popping a little bit. Runnerbot's not doing so good on the H4 for this, but in general, let's see if 2700 to 2850 holds. This would be a really, really nice floor. So, we'll see. Now, moving forward. This was a meme that I thought was absolutely hilarious, or a joke. So this is Brian Johnson. He reduced his cortisol levels by nearly 50% and in an estimated 10 years in his life. His trick, he stopped buying Ethereum. So moving on. In reality, I think October 10th still matters. Yes, Runner, it's November. I get it. But October 10th was one of the weirdest capitulations we've ever seen personally. We saw some legitimate fundamental things break out of nowhere. And Zen posted this up, and shout out Zen, one of the few to give us an interview on the Rainbow Trends. Much love, dude. He's been reading back on this because there's been a lot of issues with Wintermute and Binance that have been in the news, whether it's real or not. Don't know, but don't care. We'll know when the news finally comes through. In general, when there's giant capitulations, it's about 2 months before we see the real bodies start to come out of the woodworks, and then every month after that we find out more and more bodies were buried, etc. What I mean by that is, remember when FTX blew up? FTX was a spider web across the entire cryptoverse, even into non-crypto assets, and then we kept finding out like their blow up caused multiple other companies to blow up, and those companies were trying to struggle and try to stay alive, and none of that news was public until months later. So I still don't think October 10th has hit yet. I kid you not, we literally saw top 50 alts go to zero. It was only one, but we did see top 50 alts go to zero. We saw alts across the board 70, 80% down. flash crashed, right? DeFi in particular, their order books got wrecked as well, and a lot of the leverage books across the board got destroyed. But moving on, shout out Zen. Definitely go give him a follow. He's critically under followed at 843. But definitely go give him some love. But this is where it gets weird, guys. The Solana charts. You know my Sol order blocks that we've been charting since 2023, December 2023. Sol's showing strength. Now you're saying it's in a downtrend. If you actually look at the Sol BTC pair, it's up. So I'll tell you this. I haven't seen Solana increase in strength with Bitcoin capitulating. I just haven't seen it, guys. I haven't seen it. Maybe I'm wrong, correct me, but in general, if Bitcoin is absolutely bleeding out, these candles should be down here. We should be talking about like $100 or sub $100 Solana, and we're not. So in general, like one of the rainbow theory things I do is if I don't have a really good, so I look at Bitcoin first, see if I can get a read on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's really confusing, I'll drop down to Ethereum. If I can't get a read on Ethereum, I'll go try to look at the other majors. Typically, I'll go to look at like Litecoin, don't tell anybody, and also Solana. And right now, Solana's approaching an order block which has held since 2023. Held here, held here, held here, held here, here, kind of broke here, went back up, supported again, and we're getting really, really close to it again. So, Solana, which has been going sideways for an ungodly amount of time, are we coming down and forming a creek is the next question. Wyckoff dudes, start studying, right? We're coming up on this order block. This is 2023. This is how now. Now, is it bullish to keep testing support? No, but it's telling us for the past 24 months plus, 115 to 125 is a really, really good place where the whales come in and support it. And I don't make the rules. We just draw the charts. And that's something we're going to be looking at right now, because if we see Solana turn and start its way back up to at least test the 190s 200 order block up here, that's going to indicate the rest of the market's going to have a very healthy recovery from this absolute pain. And if you're buying at $88,000, that's going to be a crazy rebounds back up to over 100K, right? If that happens. Now remember, this is an art stream. It's not intended to be used as financial advice. But in general, top signal, we're coming into support on here. So Ethereum is at a mid-range order block, right? Not the best signal, but a decent signal that's pushing the reversion bands. Solana, the number real 3 that I look at, it's bleeding into these reversion bands and about to hit an order block, which has held damn near like a rock since really, this is when it started forming, and then we actually got above it, March of 2024. We're going to go back to when it started printing off the pink candles. We're talking December 2023, but that's what we're looking at. So I'm going to start hitting up my Malifestros in the Discord. I'm going to start hitting up my Zins in the Discord to be like, tell me what you're looking at on Solana. If you go look at the charts, Malifestro actually absolutely killed a swing trade on this. I don't remember what his absolute entry was, but it was this week. I think he actually caught it here and sold up here. Absolutely impressive on low time frames. And of course, go watch the old interview where he's doing multi-time frame charts. He normally has 3 screens up at a minimum with the rainbow trend stuff, and he killed that one. So shout out, dude. Now, since we're talking Malifestro, we're talking Zen, right? We're looking at Solana. The next one we really need to look at is Hype. Now, remember, Aster was really having a fight against Hype. It bled out. We had a theory, hey, Hype's going to bottom, and then it's going to rally. Aster game, Binance is up to no good, da-da-da-da. Yo, the signals are nice. Now, the thing is, Ethereum's bleeding. Solana's bleeding. Hype is going sideways. This does not match your intuition of what this should be doing. These alts should be melting down if Bitcoin's melting down, and we're not seeing that. So I've got a lot of confusion in the signals here. Now, here's your October 10th capitulation. This goes back into the theory. I don't think all the bodies have recovered yet. I think people are still selling spot to fix this. I think very big whales are dealing with this and having to sell their major assets to keep their books from being upside down. I suspect that's what it is. Could be wrong, could be crazy, I don't know. But in general, that's what I'm looking at. This was bad. This hurt a lot of people, and it hurt a lot of companies. A lot of companies with books they have to maintain. And a lot, like the market makers just turned their stuff off. Binance was running when all this happened, and it didn't go down. Like the market makers, you know what? We're not going to peg the order books anymore. And everything goes to shit. So this is really weird. DeFi coins shouldn't be going sideways while Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin are going down. It's not something I'm familiar with seeing. So we've got to chill out. On a flip side on hype, we go look at this. So the guy just got squeezed for a full $72 million, sending Zcash up 9% on Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid took it over a $25 million on the Zcash short and actively closing it. It's already made almost $600K in the past 24 hours. Took long enough. On the flip side of this, we're seeing very large whales getting sniped on hype, which make that for what it's worth. It's interesting. But the point is, we're looking at hype, we're looking at Zcash. Do you remember a market in any time in history where people were bullish Zcash? Even Kobe's really interested in what they're doing and bullish on it, which is just absolutely crazy to even talk about this. I used to trade the living crap out of Zcash last cycle. It made beautiful swing trades. It would hit the bottom of the reversion bands. You would go long on spot. It would go up 40, 50%, hit the other side. You'd get out. And you would just keep repeating it. It was just the dumbest stuff. And if Barry was tweeting, it'd be even easier to get the TP signals. But Zcash has not rolled over. I'm not saying short this. This is when stuff's stupid, do not try to short it. This thing has done 1,500% on spot. The volume is nuts. Like, this is insane. I just don't know what to tell you. So we're in a position where people are calling for the bear market. We're if that's the case, if we're throwing in the towel, we're talking about a bear market where Bitcoin's going to go back down and do its traditional pull downs, while Zcash goes into a multi-month bull market. I'm not familiar with this. If you guys got a read on it, let me know. But this is not a 48-hour pump. This has been pumping since September. So you tell me, guys, are the whales just finally saying, you know what, I'm done with Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana. I'm going full Zcash. Maybe, but it's not something I've ever seen. Like, I've been trashed on Zcash privacy narratives for years, but I've done really well with just trading it, forgetting what the ticker is. Like, I'm in it for the tech right now. It just used to do amazing swing trades, and it was just, you just repeat over and over. Buy the reversion bands, sell on the other side. Buy the reversion bands, sell on the other side. Buy here, and it just was stupid. When I say it's stupid, it keeps working. Like 40%, 43, this one was like 80. It just is what it is. And if you just forget that the ticker was Zcash, I had a great time trading this. You just had to know that, like, you're dealing with a weird asset, but now it's sky's the limit. So we got to see what's going on here. And since I'm looking at Zcash, let me check Zora. Yeah, Zora sideways. This was a big one that pumped up and then actually pulled back. A lot of people are wanting to see this happen on. Let me turn off a lot of this stuff because it's a little busy. I see a lot of stuff. Let me just turn off. People want to see this pullback on Zcash. So if I turn it on regular, we turn off the logarithmic, gigantic pumps, big pullbacks, right? I don't think we're going to see this unless finally, like, the dam burst. I know the funding and everything on this is insane. Like, this looks nuts. Look at this, look at these reversion bands. They're barely keeping up with this. But shout out to the reversion bands, dude. Pinks and cyans, it pays off. But now we're rolling under. We'll see. I'm not willing to trade this. If you guys, here's the cheat code of why I've been trading Zcash for years. I buy low, sell high, right? Write that down because it's super secret. In reality, it's just like, be patient. And when absolutely nobody on earth wants Zcash, buy some on spot, and you could normally get a bounce out of it. These bearish candles inside those reversion bands would bounce most of the time, almost every time. It's insane. And if you just got used to that, it was great. We're nowhere near the reversion band. We're way up here. We've God knows how many pink candles this is on a daily. We're nowhere near this red band. So this is where the indicators are telling me, yo, runner, you want to buy this so bad, but you're not allowed to because it's a pink candle above the reversion bands. Now, had I told myself to do that here at 159, I would look like a genius at 700, but in general, that's just the rule. I personally don't buy pink candles or go long pink candles because, in general, they do this, right? They pull back. Pinks pull back to whites. Pinks pull back to the reversion bands. Pinks pull back, right? It normally shows some type of exhaustion. So in general, the last thing I want to do is buy this pink in a cyan candle and get wrecked. It's very emotional to lose that much money. Now, it's not to say you can't continue. It's just, man, like you're playing with absolute fire. This bad boy can reject really, really quickly. So you got to be careful. Right now, we're breaking all the rules, dude. Like we're pushing above the cyans. The cyans we're adjusting here on the machine learning twice for, I guess, 2 different peaks over 2 weeks. And now we're just going sideways. So there's your Zcash chart. Your favorite Zcash streamer dash trader's not trading it right now. So woe is me because I should have locked in, right? Sideline. So anyway, moving on to Bitcoin, the best one, right? We are on the weirdest thing ever, right? So this old chart here, this is the one we tracked for a while. It had 2 absolute creek jumps. Then we got a capitulation knife catch on the yin carry trade. And then boom, 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 boom. We rocked it up, out. Started to form our range here. Had a channel walk show up. The inauguration of the first pro-crypto president. The strategic Bitcoin reserve being announced. And then we completely lost this order block. This order block got completely destroyed, then recovered. We printed all-time highs. We started trading inside an H4 order block here. If I drop down, I'll drop down in a minute. October 10th capitulation, and now we're bleeding. So I don't think the October 10th capitulation's fully been healed yet. I think a lot of whales are getting scarred still. But level-wise, what's runners say? What's rainbow theory say? What's it look like the whales are doing? We're pushing orange candles on the daily into the reversion bands at a not clear pivot level. I don't have any pivots here around 86. I don't. Order blocks are above this. And by God, the first order blocks below it are like 77 and like 72. And I don't want to talk about going down that far because it's just weird. Like, are we really going to say Bitcoin's been going down since October 6th and Zcash has just been going up? I've never thought of projecting that type of signal. It's a weird one to look at. Fear and Greed's at like 15. RSI is completely shot out. Heavy selling, right? Let me know in the chat what you guys think, but everyone's wanting to say it's over. Now, everyone said that here too, so keep that in mind, and maybe we're just going to retest this and bounce again. It's going to be a really goofy looking chart, but long story short, we had some unprecedented stuff here. We Wyckoffed it out. We rainbow theoried it out. We followed this rotation here. Here's a 3-drive pattern. We started going sideways, and then we started getting here, and we started watching the H4s, and then this it's let loose, right? We're now here, and we have to figure it out. So Solana, 1-day order block support. Ethereum, mid-range order block support with some decent colors, some RSI rotation, stuff like that. And now, Malifester saying Fear and Greed's at 6. I thought it was 15, but anyway. Now we have a 9-day exhaustion. Now we're going into 13 on the Mali print counts, and then we're in the bands. So, man, let's see. Tomorrow's gonna come soon enough, but just barely kissing it on the H4 here. But in general, Bitcoin doesn't normally touch this band, at least on the H4. Absolute. I mean, look, October 10th, we didn't even touch it, right? Remember the capitulation was October 10th? Right here. Didn't even get to it. We're touching it now. Almost. Well, it touched it, but on the higher time frames, it is touching it. Just the way the code works. But we really didn't see it except here. That was violent. And then, yeah, as far as I want to go back on H4. And then this is me zoomed in. This is me talking about that H4 order block. This was that smaller order block that we were going through. And you can see the top signals just killing it on the H4. Crazy stuff. Not going to lie. Crypto Zinsei doesn't compute. Majors down, alts holding. Zcash up huge. Lots of noise and signal all over the place. Great points, Crypto Zen. On top of that, Coinbase has good customer support now. So go figure that out. As I said, RSI is ridiculous. Bitcoin most oversold in 2 years. It's true. Fear and greed's at ridiculous levels. RSI's at ridiculous levels. So are we just going to keep ripping? God damn, we were almost 144 there. If you guys don't know, 144 is my favorite number. We're still at 145. And if we look at the halving tracker, it's not looking the best, guys. Chat, we need to lock in. This is generally where the markets peak, and we never really peaked. We never slammed any Mayer multiples, and now she's going down. It's crazy. Speaking of Mayer multiples are flagging buy right now. So this whole time we've been projecting, hey, 2.0 standard deviation. That's been the top of the bull market every single time. Now we're looking at Q4 of the golden bull run, and we're flagging under 0.8 standard deviations on the Mayer multiple projections. This is weird. Now, mind you, let's take a look. Let me show you what the 0.8 means, right? You can see where this is held in the past, the 0.8s. 0.7 is really, really bad. And then even here, it's worse. But this is the one I wanted to show you. So this was the previous Bitcoin all-time high where we went from like 65,000 down to 29,000. This looks like nothing. This, I will tell you, this was one of the worst capitulations I've ever been through, ever witnessed altogether. It was a pullback of 54%. 54%. Right? It went down to just below that level, which is 1 green, 2 greens. So what was that? 1 green, 2 greens is... It only got to 0.7, which is roughly right now 78,000. Right? I will tell you this. This ruined a lot of people's lives. This shut down Coinbase. This shut down FTX. This shut down Binance. This shut down everything. I think even EtherDelta went offline. Now, we rallied, and by God, which was really crazy, we got our rainbow theory signal on that freaking candle, and it was awesome. And we got the long signal, and then it rode all the way back up. And nobody wanted to play that, but we saw it. Go back and check the charts. We got receipts. And then we proceeded to rally for a slightly higher high, and then we actually went to hell, and it went to 15K. And this is where we blew FTX out of the water. And then we've gone from 15K all the way up to 130K, right? Now, we're here, going into Q4, going into rate cuts, and it's starting to bleed out. Or it's starting to show like potential buy signals. Now, the scary thing is on the backside of a bear market, if we really are the full-size bear market, you can tag these levels and walk it down. It's not that the Mayer multiple is going to tell you where the absolute bottom is, but it's definitely going to tell you like, yo, you need to really pay attention about buying. Because in general, that's where your bear markets happen. There's your COVID blip. There's your macro blip from 2017, where this was the 20K parabolic as F run and went back down, right? You don't often get opportunities to buy below 0.7. Needless what I'm saying. And we're about to get there. So, I'm seeing tweets now where people are talking about projecting the Bitcoin bear market being done by like October. So, I mean, are we really going to say this is the bear market and then we go to all-time highs and get some little capitulations here? I don't know. It's really weird. It doesn't make sense. Zcash is going full-blown parabolic. And we're already... Let me make this perfect. Get that peak just right because it messes with the percentages. We're already 31%. This would be roughly 40. 50 would be like here at 70-ish. It's weird. Let me know what you think. Phil, I joined on this drop. What's up, Phil? I broke the market then. It's true. What are your thoughts on Chill House? So, let's see. I mean, Fear and Greed's at 14, 15. I don't know if Fear and Greed goes negative. I mean, we saw oil futures go negative once. So we got to see what that's all about. But to back us up and to get us into some bullish stuff, Eric Trump saying Q4 will be unbelievable for crypto. Now, the thing is, unbelievable can be bullish and bearish. So there's Tom Lee's reaction. He's down $3.5 billion on Ethereum. Just fan-friggin-tastic. Paperclips Maxi, why aren't you willing to call the top Wyckoff distro? I don't see the Wyckoff distro chart. Personally. What time frame would you call this Wyckoff distribution? If we're talking, I mean, if you're going to say distribution happened on a past a 30%, you've got to be talking about that range, maybe? Which kind of looks like the 65K here when you had the 3 drives, but we weren't anywhere near the Mayer multiples at all. That big pump here, which was really the top, we had the color rotations and we had a higher high. Now, this is where the Rainbow Theory stuff does get interesting because it's a higher high, but it's weaker colors, and that's showing you kind of divergence of the trend. But I got no colors on this, on the daily at least. Unless you consider this a hump and then this a second hump and then maybe, I don't know. I just don't see it. I haven't seen clean Wyckoff in a very long time. I was able to get 2 creek jumps out of that, but I've never seen a Wyckoff chart with creek jumps, and then we had a capitulation wick, which was a whole other thing, but I don't know. BTC last cycle down 54%, made a weekly 9, tagging a 13. Look at the Mally levels on the cycles on the weekly and daily. Interesting. Let me turn Mally pins back on. But back to the other thing. If we're going to call macro Wyckoff distribution, we got to do that in hindsight. So let's wait till it's 40% down, and then we'll say, hey, guys, why didn't you call that? That's what I like to do. That's what Crypto Twitter does, right? Show the Wyckoff charts after the fact before you were bullish or shorted heavily. Yeah, we're at 9. I mean, that's the other thing. We're on a 9 exhaustion. Mally pivots printing. Let me see it on the weekly. I never really look at weekly charts, to be honest. I just zoom out on daily. Like, that's what my natural instinct is. Sorry, I'm listening to music you guys can't hear because we get copyright stricken even if I blip 10 seconds of audio. 9, 9, 13. Yeah. Fear and Greed, 14. Air Trump, unbelievable. Ethereum down. The other one is the ETF blowouts. So IBIT has been depositing tons and tons of money. Excuse the ad. ETF flows. Let me refresh this just real quick. No, paperclip maxi. It's not that it's different what I want to call it. I don't see the Wyckoff I don't see the distribution patterns that you're calling for. If you throw the actual typical exhaustion of a Wyckoff distribution top, I can't map it out on Bitcoin. I can't map it out on Ethereum either. I've tried multiple times to plot it, but I just haven't seen it. I haven't seen too many charts either that other better people at Wyckoff. I'm not a Wyckoff guy. I just like the theory of it. And I like catching creek jumps and capitulation, but distribution is another animal. But looking at outflows, we're looking at Fidelity, BlackRock, Bitwise, a lot of outflows, but the thing is we've been seeing steady outflows. So that's funny, 75 up on that one. So not looking good there. Not looking here. Wyckoff. Oh, yeah. Oh, I do have something bullish. Jesse Polak launched a crypto coin. And it's been fun. So Jesse, my favorite Base coder, launched a token today on Base. And of course, the contract got sniped and someone made $500K in a few seconds, which is awesome. But It's a top 4,500 coin. It's got $64,000 in volume today, which is interesting. I guess we're past the close, so that's reset. But we're gonna start charting Jesse. We'll see how that goes. He's base builder number 1. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, Matt the Vulture brings it out. Paperclip Maxi, hop on the Discord after this, and we can show the charts and walk through it. More than happy to. The reason I don't call it distribution, like flat out, if you want to go back into it, like a lot of people will jump off stuff I say directly. So if I'm not really confident in the call, I won't say it publicly. I'll hint that I'm thinking about it and trying to plot it out. But definitely hop on the charts and we'll share the screen and you can show us, walk us through it. So Shadow 36. If you guys don't know the Truman Show meme, I absolutely love this. Nuke it. Now pump it. Now nuke it again. Now pump it again. Now add 1,000% tariffs on China and Russia. Now shut the government down. Pump it again. Also add some sprinkle and some rate cuts. But in all seriousness, we're going to go to another meme. So I absolutely loved this one. This is the Office meme of Michael Scott onboarding with Under Mifflin. But they've switched it on to Brian Armstrong and then Kobe, which has been one of the craziest ARK things I've ever seen. They sold Echo for what was it, $400 million. Up Only's coming back, and now he's directly on payroll of Coinbase. So now you've got like a crypto OG who likes the tech, watches out for people in general, good personality, funny dude, generally funny, cracks me up. But what I didn't see from the announcements of Coinbase of buying Echo and buying out Kobe's team and bringing him on board, which is great. I say buying out, there's no negative connotation. Like if you built a project and sold it out for something you like, it's awesome. But Kobe tackling the tech support issues at Coinbase was something I never would have thought of happening. And he's been on absolute fire, and he's been recovering accounts, unlocking accounts, fixing lost funds, all this stuff. And he's been on absolute fire, which has been something really interesting because you have to understand if that's all happening at Coinbase, it means there has to be like a Teams channel or like a Slack or something at Coinbase where Kobe is going to be on absolute fire, just lighting up tech support and getting stuff, kicking down doors, kicking butt, taking names, and making it happen, which is interesting because what it implies is the Coinbase system has had these doors available for years, but no one's been willing to stand up and kick the doors down and help out these customers. Well, Kobe is, to put it nicely, has fuck you money. So he probably doesn't care at all if he's let go by Coinbase and he's going to go do what he wants. And right now he's trying to help out Coinbase clients, and he is doing it, which is just flat out amazing. All the stuff we've never thought was possible to get these accounts recovered and back. He's like, yo, DM me the details. And then he's going and actually talking to the legit people at Coinbase and getting these things fixed and getting them resolved. Just fantastic. But it's not an arc I ever saw coming. But it was really cool. And it kind of makes you consider, why were these doors available at Coinbase, but no one was entitled or empowered enough to open them? You got a guy who doesn't care. I mean, is Kobe scared of an exit interview? No, he's set for life, right? So it's really interesting dynamic to see play out, because this means like, yo, he's paving a path inside a management system. Think of it like a corporate, like a business management system where there are doors to fix all this stuff, and he's starting to open those doors. So hopefully this continues on and we see some really cool stuff happen at Coinbase and continue on. A great move by Coinbase. I rag on them a lot. I make a lot of fun of Pollack's cringe stuff, but like this was a really, really good move. The up only's coming back. And we're getting side quest where he's battling tech support. One of the number one most made fun things of Coinbase is their tech support. And he's battling it, which is just, you just never would have thought would have seen the day. So moving on. Mind you, we did have the Gentile stream and interview last week. I have to apologize, guys. I have been absolutely swamped in an offshore engineering project for the past 2 weeks, just trying to get something out the door so I can actually enjoy next week off with the family for Thanksgiving. And we had some issues with the recording, and I had to pull everything that was broken, and I'm in the process of manually fixing and repairing like a 2-hour interview with Gentile. So I promise you it's coming. It's just it's a lot of video editing, and you guys have no idea how busy I am right now. So in real life, in coding, in family, as well as like Rainbow Trend stuff. So anyway, moving on. But since we're talking Gentile, people are mad thinking, oh, Rivian price went down, so we pulled the stream. I can assure you, or accusing us of being paid coals. I can assure you, we started trading Rivian not to get popular or to get paid by Scarnage, but it's actually turned into something that I've becoming a fan of the tech. I like the cars, and it's really easy to trade on hourly or daily. Let me show you the cheat sheets. Let me turn off manually pivots. So if you've noticed, the runner bot tends to call every top on the daily ever. Just about, like 80% of them. It also, I'm sorry, we're on H4 right now, but I'm going to leave it on H4. If you've noticed, for the past few years, I'm zoomed way out here on H4, you want Rainbow Trends cheat sheets. Pink candles in reversion bands tend to reverse. And you're seeing that 2023, 2023, 2024, 2024, 2025, 2026, or 2025, end of 2025. We're seeing this over and over. We're also seeing traditional trends showing us that there are potential bottoms here. We're getting higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. We started to track a wedge. We're starting to break through the wedge. So what we're looking at is potentially something that is macro bottom. And I used to just make fun of this. I say make fun of it. We'd be up here. We'd been listening to Nexus talk about this for years, right? And now it's actually starting to show promise. But one of the things I kind of was thinking about this week, Tesla is not really a car company. Tesla is really a software company that sells cars. And Tesla's pumping, right? All the AI stuff's pumping. And I've kind of had this epiphany this week. Rivian is an AI company as well. These are LiDAR tracking self-driving cars. They're making their own manufacturing plants, which are roboticized as can be with AI and everything else. The question I have and kind of the epiphany of, am I looking at one of the strongest AI companies with the worst bottomy chart in existence? There's no other AI names that look anything like this chart. None. At least none that I can find. At least ones that are actually look like they have a future and haven't like just been completely eliminated from the market. So if that's the case, if that really is the case, ask yourself, is this one of those half pipes forming? Because if it is, even if we've been like looking at trading these like H4s, that's been something I have been doing lately is trading like the H4 swings. The thing is like they're coming out with more tech. They're proving that they're not going to die. Like they're clearly made a bottom. As much as the other industry wants them to like die off, they have the capability to survive. The cars are growing on me, I'm not gonna lie. And frankly, the cool thing is you're seeing Volkswagen start to make more and more deals with them, more and more investments, and wanting to use their software, wanting to use all this different stuff, right? We're also going to get the International Harvester Rivian rebranded. It's through Volkswagen, but it's clearly a Rivian, and it also has a gas kicker motor, which I think is really cool because your boy likes range extenders that run on petroleum. But if this is the most oversold AI company in the world, is it worth throwing some money here and watching a potential half pipe? Because if the potential half pipe hits, I don't know what tool that was, dude, you're talking like 500, 200, 300,000 X here. Like, do I think Tesla is going to go do a 5X from here? No, I don't. But by the way, we talk general Rainbow Trends cheat codes. Tesla, runner bot, daily candles. That's when Elon sold. That's when Elon's brother sold. Bang, 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 bang. Well, okay. We missed one. Bang, bang, bang. This is a very deadly tool on Tesla on the daily's default settings. Just out of the box, it works really, really well. Now, in general, my take, Tesla doesn't move like a stock. It moves more like crypto, for what it's worth. But in general, you won't get the bottom signals on the daily, but in general, like these hit hard and they're worth looking at. Like I said, it's not perfect. I'm showing you right now where it didn't get the best. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 80-90% it's calling the macro tops. Plug in your other coin, your other indicators. You're going to have an advantage over the other dudes. Just how it goes. Anyway, we'll see how they do. I'm really bullish on the AI stuff that they're doing with the humanoid stuff. I think that's going to be a good thing until we start having to look at the U.S. economy as a whole of what we do and all the robots start replacing like 40-50% of the jobs, then power it with AI. We're going to have all these humans without jobs, and then we have to start talking universal income. So that'll be fun. But anyway, moving on. Why you guys are here? Well, we're looking at NVIDIA. Why? This was the stock that just keeps the entire economy afloat because AI is what's keeping us going, right? NVIDIA beat. Earnings were yesterday. Numbers were good. Numbers beat expectations. Surprise, surprise, right? NVIDIA always beats is what it seems to happen. Now, we were tracking this one as well, and it had a channel walker up, went sideways, and it's been going kind of crazy. We beat here. It triggered the bot because it was such a violent candle with after-hours stuff. But pump, recovery, now we're here. We'll really see what happens Friday. This type of stuff in general, oh, runner, that's just one candle. That's the candle that really shook the world. Why? Because there was an earnings coming up, which is that little E right there on the TradingView chart. Welcome to the alpha channel. Now, this has to shake out. This has to level. This has to keep going. But as a reminder, like, comment, subscribe. It helps us out a lot, boost these algos. I hate asking for much, but that like won't bother you a bit or the subscription. We're trying to get the actual subscriptions way up on YouTube. We broke my 500 goal, which was like doubling the channel in like 6 months. Now we're trying to get over 1,000, but we'll see. It's really hard to grow YouTube. Now, cheat codes for NVIDIA, rainbow trend style, right? Let's talk some cheat codes. In general, you don't see it often. Frankly, we're zoomed way out here. But if NVIDIA touches this band, it typically will bounce hard. This doesn't look like a lot, but that is 40% move to like 50% move on one of the most liquid assets on earth. This isn't talking about like a 4,500 Jesse coin, right? Now, you rarely ever see it, right? We haven't seen those in a very, very, very long time. We're seeing them here. But in general, pay attention to that. I'm just going to give you guys cheat sheets. There's stuff that works right out of, or a lot of stuff that works right out of the box, and then there's stuff that's like really, really good for some reason for years at a time out of the box. That's a really good one. NVIDIA tends to, you never see it typically. You get it like once a year, if once every 2 years. But if that happens, feels god-awful to buy that stuff, but it bounces hard. This one in particular went on, it's not that you're going to catch the bottom, like that bottom candle wick and poster clout that you 100x'd it, right? But that's like 100% move on a ridiculous asset that has options, leverage, all that stuff. So anyway, moving on, let's get some sentiment in. Let's look at our favorite person over at Canary Capital. We're looking at the OG Josh Olszewicz, right? So let's take a look. He's pointing out that Bitcoin Weekly RSI is at a level historically reserved for the bottom of a bear market. So this goes back to stuff's weird. RSI is crazy. Fear and greed's crazy. RSI is showing that, like, yo, we're at the bottom of the bear market, like macro bear market. So what? And then also he's posting Larry back in black. So a lot of memes there, a lot of fun. But love the Josh. Got to keep a general pulse on him. I highly recommend you watch his YouTube channel. Macro Mondays are free and amazing. But we are wrapping up. We hit 9 o'clock, and you guys know what that means. We are going to head over to the Rainbow Trends Discord, share charts, give our thoughts on Chillhouse, Handbow, Solana, Zcash, you name it, Toyotas, and Paperclip Maxi. Come hop in and show us your markups on Schematic 1. I'd love to see it. But thanks again. We'll talk to you guys later. Like I said, please click like, comment, subscribe, retweet, all that stuff helps us out a lot. And I will see you guys probably not next week because it's a holiday, but I'll see you in the Discord in about 10 minutes if that works for you. I'll see you later. Much love. Talk to you later. Bye.